TraderJud here, back with you with another weekly Forex Outlook video. This is week number 16, and this week we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally, I would show you 3 different time frames, the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour, but in an attempt to make these videos a little bit shorter and a little bit more bearable, since what I normally do is just trade the 4-hour time frame anyways. What I'm going to recommend to you is to take some time out and to look at the weekly and the daily and figure out the significance of those candles from last week. But from now on, I think I'm just going to focus on the 4-hour time frame, since I do most of my charting on the 4-hour time frame. And I mostly look at the weekly and the daily time frames for candle significance to get an idea of how significant the previous week was. So this week, all I'm going to do is focus on the 4-hour time frame for the 10 pairs, and talk about what I see on the 4-hour time frame. Because again, all I do is take trades on the 4-hour time frame. I don't actually initiate any trades based off of the weekly or the daily. So instead of doing 3 separate time frames, I'm just going to focus on one time frame this week, just the 4-hour time frame. So let's go ahead and get into it. EU this week, we have crab pattern that's pretty close to completion, not quite completed yet. We can see EU's been trending down for quite some time. Got a nice downtrend, break of structure, and so it's continuing down. You'll see I have a few horizontal lines drawn. You can see the significance of all those lines. That's why it's zoomed out so far. But as we zoom in, we can see that the last support and resistance level was just broken, and we're looking for some sort of retest before continuing downward. So I would anticipate a retest of this level, a little bit of bullish movement to start the week out before continuing down. Then once we get to the next horizontal line or the next support and resistance level, it's really, really close to the completion of the crab pattern. So we could see some sort of rejection down here, or even a break to complete the crab pattern before going bullish. However, I do not recommend buying this until this trend line is broken. And so we're looking for sells still, and we're going to be looking for sells probably the rest of this week. And then once the crab pattern completes and this trend line is broken, we'll be looking for buys. But until then, only looking for sells with EU. Looking at UJ, you can see the 110 level is in red, just like it was last week. Price last week was bearish. We did have a little bit of bullish movement to stop the week out, or to end the week last week, but for the most part this was bearish last week. You can see it's respecting this support and resistance level down here. We had that huge rejection and then the bullish momentum off of that. If you remember from last week, I had this trend line drawn a little bit differently. I had this trend line drawn up here, like that. You can see the perfect break and retest of that before going bearish. I just moved this trend line down here, and so what we're looking for is a break of the support and resistance level, as well as a break of this trend line, and then our retest of the support and resistance level and or the trend line before continuing to go bearish. However, if this does, we can see before last week that this was trending upwards. And so it is still a bullish trend, even though we had bearish momentum coming into the markets last week. This is still bullish overall. The trend is still bullish, and so we're looking for either bullish momentum coming off of this rejection. So I want to see more bullish momentum before I buy it, or we're looking for another break and retest of this trend line before selling it, specifically a break of this horizontal line, because that will signify potential break of structure. Structure has not broken yet, which is why I'm not necessarily looking for sells, not long-term sells at least. So yeah, that's what I see for UJ. Going down to gold, you can see I have that zone from last week still drawn. Price is currently sitting in that zone right now, and then I have 2 trend lines, and that's it. No horizontal lines, no nothing on gold. And so it looks like we're rejecting this. Not only this trend line that's drawn, let's adjust that trend line just a little bit. Not only the trend line that's drawn, you can see the rejection of the trend line, but also the zone. So we're looking to see if price is going to continue bearish like it's been trending, right? This is the high point. It's lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And so we're looking for another lower low. Potentially, we're waiting on this trend line right here to be broken before we confirm the sell on gold. Going to EA next. EA's got a few horizontal lines drawn. This 88.6 retracement is based off of this low point right here to this high point. And then the red line is the 88.6 retracement, as well as this support and resistance level. I have this zone drawn in between those 2 points, so that's kind of where we're looking for price to go. Price has been very bearish for a couple of weeks now, very, very bearish. We could see some sort of bullish momentum that propels this upward before continuing to go bearish. I'm not convinced either way yet. Overall it is bearish, and so you should not be looking for buys. Let's see here. I'll show you the 88.6. You can see where that lines up. The 78.6 is also right here, so that's something else to watch out for. It already broke this 70.7, and it broke the 61.8 quite a while ago, in the middle of last week. So we are really far away from this trend line. I decided not to draw a trend line down here because that's a very steep trend line, and so a break of that trend line wouldn't necessarily mean to buy. And so I'm leaving the trend line where it is. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci retracement. So you can see the 80.6 is down here. That's really close to this support and resistance level. So that's the reason why I've labeled that as well. Again, there is a 78.6 in between these two support and resistance levels. So that's something to keep an eye on. Moving down to GN, we have a Gartley pattern that's close to completion on GN. You can see the bearishness. The B point was broken, so I do feel like this is probably pretty likely to complete. The zone is based off of this candlestick over here, this bullish candlestick, over here. And we have not quite broken out of that zone yet, though we are very close to breaking out of that zone. So once that zone is broken out, we'll be looking for a break and a retest of that area, and then a continuation down to the D point of the Gartley pattern, in which case we'll be looking for buys after that, as long as we get bullish momentum coming out of the completion. If we do get a rejection of the zone, let's say that GN starts out very bullish this week and we get a break to the upside, we're looking for a break and a retest and then continuation up to this horizontal line. Which could be drawn as a zone as well. There's a few rejections over here, a few rejections right here, right here, right here, and right here. And then you saw that it was tested multiple times after it was broken most recently. So that's a pretty significant level as well. So there's options for both bullish and bearish on this. We're just kind of waiting it out to see how the week opens up. Moving on to AUD USD. We can see prices, the last candlestick on Friday broke through this trend line that I have drawn right here. I also have support and resistance levels drawn, as well as the weekly trend lines, and then this huge zone up here as well. So what we're looking for with AU this week is to see if we're going to get a retest of this previous market structure, or a retest of this trend line that's drawn, this minor trend line. If not, then it will continue down to at least this trend line, and if it does break that, there is a horizontal line or a support and resistance level down here as well, which is based on a previous market structure to the left. And if that is broken, then we'll be looking for a retest of the weekly/daily trend line down here at the bottom. Moving on to GU. GU has been free falling. You'll notice that this looks like a pretty simple chart, and it is, honestly. I've added a couple of horizontal line support and resistance levels that are based on points to the left. You can see previous market structure right here. These points match up perfectly. You see the rejection right here, and the rejections over here, which is why this next level is drawn, and then previous market structure down at the bottom. So price has been kind of dancing on this this trend line that's drawn. So it is possible that this trend line will get broken this week. We'll add an arrow to signify that. If price is broken at any point in time, what we'll be looking for is a break, retest, and then a continuation upward. And so some horizontal levels that we could see in play, something like that and like that. That's what we'd be looking for if it does break this trend line and decide to go bullish. Those would be the levels that we'd be looking for immediately. So those are options with GU. Moving on to GJ. GJ, there is a crab pattern drawn. It's almost completed right now. You can see the completion is at the bottom of the zone, which matches up perfectly with previous market structure, so I do like this completion. If this does complete, we'd be looking for opportunities to buy based on the rejection of this zone and the rejection of the completion of the crab pattern. I do apologize that it is not labeled, but this is a crab pattern. So our options with GJ, we're looking for, since I didn't draw any arrows, we're looking for the completion of the crab pattern. If it does break below the zone, we're looking for a retest and then a continuation down to here, in which case we could see bullish momentum off of that. And if it does break below here, then we'd be looking for a continuation down. Remember that harmonic pattern completions aren't necessarily the end-all be-all, right? We could, just because a pattern completed does not mean you're going to see a reversal when the pattern completes. So don't just set your buy limits for the completion of patterns and then hope for the best, right? You wait for confirmation after that pattern completes that you should be buying or selling in the opposite direction of the completion of the pattern. So be aware of that. Use your judgment. And moving on to EJ. We have a couple of levels drawn on EJ. They're all based on market structure to the left. And so what we're looking for is a reaction off of any one of these levels all the way to the bottom. So not necessarily looking for anything in specific with EJ. Honestly, EJ has been bearish for quite some time, just like GJ has. And so I would not be surprised if we saw some sort of relief, meaning some bullish movement. But we could see retests of even the 125 level, which is a quarter point. We'll put a identifier all the way down there. So 125 is a quarter point. And so we'll make it red just to match up with the other one. So that's the closest quarter point. The next quarter point being 130 has already been broken. So just something to be aware of. Right, we have a few levels where price could reverse. Right now it's really bearish. There's really no reason to buy. We could see some sort of retest of this zone before continuing its bearish tendencies, but I'm not buying or selling EJ this week. I'm just kind of watching it because there was a lot of bearish movement last week. So I'm not convinced that it's going to be a sell just yet, and I'm not buying or I'm not selling this late into it. Right, I'm going to wait for a better opportunity to sell. However, I'm not buying it either. So keeping my eye on EJ, but not in it. I probably won't be in it to start the week out. Maybe we'll see opportunities to get into a trade later on in the week. And last but not least is UCAD. You can see UCAD was bullish last week, had a lot of bullish momentum. Came up and retested this trend line and is now reacting off of it. We could see a good opportunity to buy or sell this week with UCAD. Just waiting to see how price reacts to the trend line. That is a weekly trend line. You can see the significance of it. If I zoom out or when I zoom out, you can see how significant it is. So we might see good opportunities to buy or sell this depending on how it reacts to the trend line. If we do get a bearish movement right out of the gate, I would be comfortable selling this to these levels down here. However, if we do get bullish momentum, I'd be waiting for a break and a retest of not only the trend line, but also the zone, and then you can buy up to the previous market structure. So that's what we're looking at with UCAD this week. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you like this format better, if you don't like this format, if you'd prefer me to go back to doing the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour time frame instead of just doing the 4-hour time frame. Again, this was just an attempt to save some time because I know that some of these videos have been up to 40 minutes long, and that's just a long time to devote to watching a video. Again, thanks for all the support and continued support. And if you're not following me on Telegram or on Facebook, there is a Facebook page, there is a Telegram channel as well. So I encourage you to click the links in the description down below and to follow up with those. I will be posting more content throughout the week, as well as I'll be posting a Indicator 101 video this week, and just looking for recommendations. What do you guys want to see? What can I bring to you that will provide insight into trading? And so if you have any ideas for content or have any questions that you want me to answer, you want me to devote videos to it, please ask these questions, and I'll do my best to get as insightful as possible. So again, thanks for the support. If you haven't already, click the like button, subscribe to the channel. I am TraderJud, and I am out.